Lovely. Well, I guess a busy period of the season over the next few weeks. Is it something you look forward to? Players always look forward to playing. Do coaches always look forward to being on the touchline?
Yeah, well, I think coaches are different. Some people love being on the grass, some people love games. I really enjoy being on the grass, but I've always loved the games, so I'm never one to complain about having too many games. That's where I get my buzz.
And the fact that you've got two very different games, the Bristol Rovers team and mid-table derby, you're flying at the moment, do you have to put them to one side each game and just focus on one game, or do you look at them as a group of games when it's like this?
I've worked with managers who do groups. One thing I've done this year, and it's worked really well for me, is strictly one game at a time, and I've made sure I've never ever looked beyond the next fixture, and I'm definitely not starting that now. So yeah, my focus is solely on Bristol on Saturday.
Can it sometimes be hard though not to look ahead?
No, not for me. I think I'm pretty focused guy, and as I said, I've been consistent with that all year. So yeah, that's been pretty straightforward for me, to be honest.
You've had a week with your new signings on the training ground. How crucial and vital has that been to get them to get to know players, let alone know yourself?
Yeah, it's very difficult when you come into a new environment, because we all crack on with our lives and we all do our things and everything's normal to us, but everything's new. I wouldn't say alien, but everything's different. You're not in that comfort zone. You're living away from home. There's just multiple emotions you go through. It's really, really difficult actually, but it's not just about Ethan and Luke. Mide, Harry, they've settled in really, really well, and I think that's probably helped that with the four boys that have come in. I think it makes it easier. So we talk a lot about when guys come in, we make a big deal in our first introductory meeting with the group of, we've all been through it, we know what it's like, embracing people, making them feel loved. Everybody that's here in the building has been through that, so everybody recognise that, but I can't compliment the group enough, how they are as people, and how they warm to other people. I can't imagine there's many easy environments to come in until they meet me.
Luke Plange, obviously, you talked about trying to build his fitness up. How do you go about doing that? Is it just about giving him game time here and there and working on that in training?
I think first and foremost training, so the Monday to Friday is where we can really affect that. Game time is huge. He has looked really, really impressive since he's come in. He's got good qualities, but ultimately the more minutes we can give him, the better.
I know you had a group of B team games to help get, obviously to help other players, but get Lewis Monsma fit. Is that something you're going to look at going forward? Do you think they're good ways of getting players match practice and to get players with injuries up to speed?
Yeah, there's one on the board behind us for Tuesday week, but I need to confirm whether that is. So it's something we do look at. I would say in the first part of the season we didn't have to do that because everybody was playing. There was a constant rotation of players for a number of reasons. Now that the squad's a little bit fuller, there will probably be occasions where we will need that. We do have a fair amount of Saturday, Tuesday games coming up, but it's something we plan well ahead in advance. So, as I said, there's one penciled in for Tuesday week. I hope it's still on. Is it still on it?
I think so.
There you go.
and it seems to be a dilemma for clubs at the moment. Do you have a reserve team? Do you have a B team? Do you have a 23s, a 21s? You've worked in different scenarios. You probably played in the reserves back in the the day they had the reserve set up. Not all the time, but is that, which way do you think is the best way forward? And do you think it depends on your squad size and things like that?
I think it depends on a lot. Finances is a big thing. I want to say I want to be careful what I say, but I don't want to say that because it's not. I like this, and like most of my career has been in academy environments, and I'm a huge fan of it. But I love the model of the B team. I love when I look at Brentford's model and other clubs to do that. I think it's really, really good. I think every club is completely different, so it will fit certain clubs better than it will fit others. I totally understand the academy structure and the real big positives and pluses in that. So I think every club should look at it differently. So that's why I'm saying to be careful when I say, because I've seen both, and I think they're both really, really good models. I think it depends on a multitude of things of how your club do things. Finances is a big thing, especially when you come down the footballing pyramid, because we don't have the resources that. The gap between the Premier League and the EFL is just huge.
And do you think that that'll be something you develop over your time here, that you'll find different ways of going about things?
In terms of B teams?
In terms of B teams and how many fixtures you have, and how you recruit for your club, whether you do go down Brentford's model and bringing in players obviously at a younger age.
Yeah, and I wouldn't like to misrepresent or misguide our fans by hinting that that's what we're going to do. We do have, and we have had lots of conversations around academies and B teams and stuff like that. I can honestly say I don't know what the outcome is. They're ongoing conversations. I think the other thing for myself, I'm really respectful of. I'm the head coach of the club. I'm not the director of football. Like Jez's role is different, Liam's role is different, the board's Clive. So my job is to develop the team and develop the younger players as best as I can. It's not my job to say that I will happily give my input and pass on my knowledge and experience of why I like things or why I don't, but I'm a big believer in staying in your lane. Whatever that your job title is, stick to it. And so I've never gone to anybody at the club and said I think you should do this, or I don't like this, or I don't like that. I've always worked and will continue to work in the environment that I work with the infrastructure, and try and maximise the best of what we have. We're a very, very open club. In terms of dialogue conversations, the club actually really embrace hard conversations. So if ever the club needed anything from me on that, I would happily give my opinion. And we have had, I don't mean loose as in fluffy conversations. We have had conversations, but they were quite informal, I would say. That's above my pay grade, I would say.
Bristol Rovers this weekend, I guess the result you'd like the same, but not necessarily the same outcome in terms of the amount of goals you had in the reverse fixture.
Yeah, it was a surreal day for me. We scored 6 goals away from home. We got 3 points. It was a back-to-back win after Derby, and outside of naturally when you lose a game of football, and we haven't lost many, I hated it. I hated everything about it, and I think ultimately if you perform like that 9 out of 10 times, Rob, you lose. And we were really clinical on the day. We got goals at the right time. We scored. I mean, at 2-1, Regan's cleared one off the line. We scored bang on half time, which kind of killed them. And then we scored pretty much quickly after half time. So we scored at key moments in the game. But it wasn't a brilliant performance. But I can think of games where we've not had wins and we've played really, really well. And that's just football. I try to stay as balanced as I can. I try not to get emotionally attached to results.
And home form obviously still unbeaten, but it's getting those wins up, isn't it? That's I guess the next step in that development.
Yeah, 100%. I would never shy away from that. We need more W's, particularly at home. I can say in every game we've played at home this year, we've walked away with a point. We've got something out of a game. So there's lots of ways you can look at it, but ultimately we want more wins. I keep saying to the lads, don't underestimate the importance of points, because losing games knocks confidence. It's impossible not to. But we 100% need more wins and want more wins. We want. We don't. I think we've had games this year where we've drawn and we've picked up something and we've remained unbeaten, and rightly so. Everybody collectively has perhaps gone home disappointed. Fans, players, staff. And yet we've picked up points. But I think that's. I look at that as a positive, that we're walking away from games, and you should look to win your home games. But I always try and remain balanced on the process and what we're trying to do here, and it takes. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I think over the course of the season, when I look at many performances, we're we're definitely heading in the right direction.
And we see it all the time, don't we? You know, a club will suddenly get a win when they've not won away from home, and then go on a run of winning games away from home. Do you feel it's a bit like that with your side as well, that a win on Saturday could unlock a run of wins at home?
It's something I've purposely not discussed, the fact that sometimes you can't avoid everything. So I know our last win before Accrington was quite some time away, but I also know that in the last 18 games we've lost very few, so it depends how you look at it. When I first came to the club, everybody was like, and this is football, not here, you know, you've got to get your first win, and then we won a game, and then everybody was like, you haven't won at home, you've got to win at home. So that's football. My glass is normally half full, but it's not a rose tinted glass either.